A very good morning to all of you, 7C. Welcome to the biology class, children. Good morning,
Good
children.
morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Good
Okay.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, children. In the last class, we were discussing about the Rhizobium bacterium, if you remember. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember? Yes. So we were talking about the nutrients that are essential in the soil for the growth of the plant. In the same context, we also discussed about the Rhizobium bacterium. I told you that it is a bacteria that lives in the root of the legumes or leguminous plants, basically the plant belonging to the pulses family. Yes, and they live there, they get the shelter in the roots, these bacteria, and in return they fix the atmospheric nitrogen for these plants. Okay, so they can take it easily and they can grow well. So this is a type of symbiotic relationship between the bacteria and the roots of the plants, or you can say the leguminous plants. Okay, children. Now we'll be talking about the other modes of nutrition in plants. Now, as I have told you that in this chapter we have discussed about nutrition in plants. So when we're talking about plants, basically we have talked about how plants are able to synthesize the food and they are able to take it. With the help of photosynthesis, we have studied all the necessities that should be there for the photosynthesis process to be carried out. Yes, so everything important we have discussed. Now we'll be talking about those plants that are non-green. Now the factor behind photosynthesis was that they were able to perform or they were able to do photosynthesis because they were green in color. That is because of the presence of the chlorophyll pigment. But what about the plants that are non-green or that are not green in color? Basically all the fungi. Fungi also, children, they belong to the plant group. So we will be talking about those plants which are non-green and how do they get the food. So this is for sure that when they do not have chlorophyll, they will not be able to synthesize the food. So when they don't have the they cannot synthesize the food, what are they going to do? They will be dependent on others for the food. So this is what we are going to study, that how and when they are dependent on what for their food. So first we'll be talking about the parasitic nutrition. In this, the first category is parasitic nutrition. For your information, we are right now on page number 12. Please all of you turn your books to page number 12 if you have still not opened. We will be talking about the first category, that is parasitic nutrition. Now, parasitic nutrition, children, we will talk about the plants that are parasites on other. Now, to understand the term parasites, I'll give you an example with the help of which you will be able to well understand. Now, see, have you ever heard about lice? जुओं के बारे में सुना आप लोगों ने?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Where is it found?
Ma'am, yes.
Hair. Yes,
Ma'am, here.
some people who do not maintain proper hygiene in their, yes, in their hair, these lice are found. Now, these lice, children, what do? बहुत खुजली होती है जब लाइस हो जाते हैं, जुए हो जाते हैं सर में, and what they do, they keep on sucking the blood from our scalp. हमारे सिर से बालों के नीचे जो स्कैल्प है उससे वो ब्लड सक करते रहते हैं कंटिन्यूसली, और उसी से हमें इरिटेशन होती है, खुजली होती है. नाउ दीज आर uninvited guests. Nobody has called them. Yes, these are causing harm to us. Yes, and they are taking their nutrition from our body. Okay, so basically we understand that the organisms that take the nutrition from others, that are dependent, they are not doing anything for their food. They are directly taking it. Yes, they are sucking the blood, and that is why they are referred to as parasite. So this is an example with which you will be able to clearly understand. Now, since we are talking about the nutrition in plants, so let's talk about the examples from plant. So like one example, one important example is casquita, which is also called amarbale and it is also called dodder. These are all the names of the same plant. Dodder, amarbel, cuscuta. Now this plant, children, who is this singing in the class when the class is going on? Yes. Zarvish. Yes. Now, what happens that this plant, cuscuta, which I'm talking about, it grows on other plants. It grows on other plants. It just accumulates on the other plant, and it does not prepare. Somebody wants to say something?
और सुसु किसमें करते हो?
Western.
Yes.
तो वेस्टर्न में करता हूँ.
Kartikeya, you want to say something?
No, ma'am.
Then who was it? Why is your speaker on then? Put it off. Okay, so please do not disturb in between. Make sure that your speakers are off. If you want to say something, then only put your speaker on. Okay, so it takes the nutrition from the plant on which it is growing. Okay, on which, yes, it is growing. So the plant on which it is growing is called the host plant, and the cuscuta, which is growing on the host plant, that is called the parasite. So it takes all the nutrition from the host plant. In a way, you can say it is harming it. Yes, the nutrition which it is preparing for itself, the food which it is preparing for itself, it takes the nutrition, it takes the food from the host plant, and in return it is not giving anything. So this type of relationship is called parasitic relationship, and these organisms that live on other organism, on other plant, they are called parasites. Now the same way, children, you must have also seen small little insects which are called ticks on the body of these cattle animals. कभी कभी dogs में भी देखने को मिलते हैं. Have you ever seen
Yes, ma'am.
small little insects on the body? You will not see in this thing. You will not be seeing on the body of the pet dogs, but definitely in street animals you will be able to see. So what do we see actually? These are actually the animals that are the insects which are living on the other animals. So they are parasite on them. I hope the meaning of parasite is clear. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have cuscuta, and the other example is mistletoe. Yes, it's also a plant. Then from animals, we have example like tapeworm. Have you heard about tapeworm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, tapeworm, hookworm. These are the animals that live in the body of the humans, and they cause problem to us. They keep sucking the blood from our body. Then same with Plasmodium. It is a parasitic. It's a microorganism which you need microscope to see for. And this organism also, when they enter inside our body, they cause harm to our body. So they live and they derive nutrition from our body. Now, next is saprophytic nutrition. As the name itself suggests, saprophytes mean depending on or depending for food on the organism, on the dead and decaying matter. So basically in this category all the fungus are included. Fungi, all the fungus are included. You have bread mold, mushroom, then baker's yeast. All these fungus are included in this group. Why? Because children, they are dependent for the food on the dead and decaying matter. अगर आपने कभी ध्यान दिया हो, न्यूज़पेपर्स पाइल अप करके रखे रहते हैं, कभी हम उनको हटाते, बारिश के मौसम में अब उनको हटाने की कोशिश करते, सेपरेट करते, we see black color powder which accumulates on these newspapers or any paper that you have kept. या शूज रखे रहते हैं बहुत दिन तक, आपने पहने नहीं, उस पर मॉइस्चर अगर आ गया है बारिश में, वो थोड़ा बहुत भी भीग गया, so you see some black color, white color, cotton type of growth on it. Have you ever observed it?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is basically
Yes,
fungus.
ma'am.
Feeds on the dead and decaying matter. Yes. So as you can see the bread, on the bread, The same way, if you keep a bread, a little bit of moisture is there or it is in the air, then the same condition can be seen in your bread also if you keep it for 2-3 days. Yes or no? This white color cottony mass that can be seen is actually the fungus. Okay, now what is special about it that you need to know? Now what do? We eat the food and the breaking of the food occurs inside our body. This you will be studying in detail in the next chapter, that is nutrition in animals. So we'll be talking about it in detail, but for now you need to know हम खाना खाते हैं, खाना अंदर जाके छोटा छोटा टूट जाता है and then properly it mixes up so well, it breaks into such smaller pieces into a paste, and then finally it is in liquid form, and then it can be taken by the body. So basically its breaking down occurs as soon as it enters our body. Now in case of when we talk about the saprophytic nutrition or saprophytes, what they do, यहाँ पर उल्टा करते हैं, they secrete, they give out some liquid with the help of which food बाहर ही it breaks down, वो बाहर ही break down हो जाता है उसका and to simple components, and then they take this type of food. So जो food already break down हो गया है उसको बाहर ही, not inside their body, outside their body, they break down the food and then they take it as it is. So this is something different that we need to know about saprophytes. Is this clear to everyone? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Next we talk about the animal-like nutrition. Now animal-like nutrition, we see that here here like we take the whole food the same way, the animals they also take the whole food in them, and then the breaking down of the food takes place inside the body. Yes. So this type is animal-like nutrition. Yes. It also depends upon the availability of the food. Which type of food is available? The same way they the manner in which they take food, it also depends. Now, next we talk about an activity, children. Again, if we would have been there in the school, we would have done it. But since we are not meeting, so we'll be just understanding it. Now, you take a bread, as I told you, if you take a piece of bread, and you keep it in a box. You keep it for 1 or 2 days. Just sprinkle a little water on it. Do not just put a lot of water. Do not pour a lot of water. Just sprinkle some water on it. And you just close the container, close the box, and you keep it aside somewhere. Okay. After 1 or 2, after like 2 days, if you open it, you will be seeing a lot of cotton type of mass that gets accumulated on the bread. Have you ever observed it actually?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it yes ever happened with anyone? कभी आप अपना खाना टिफिन निकालना भूल जाते हैं, टिफिन बॉक्स भूल जाते हैं, छुट्टी हो जाती है and you take it on Monday, अरे भूल गए, तो मंडे को क्या कंडीशन होती है उस फूड की? Have you ever observed? Actually, have you seen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that yes, that cottony mass, yes, जो कॉटन की तरह का मास उसके ऊपर इकट्ठा हो जाता है, लग जाता है, that actually happens if you are going to put that piece of bread in the box as I have told you. After that, what you do, for doing this activity, actually you will be needing a microscope, and since we don't have, so you just need to listen that how you are going to do it. You take that small piece of the cottony mass from the bread with the help of a pin-like structure which is given in your book. Observe it carefully. It is called forceps. What is it called?
Forceps.
Yes. You will not touch it with your hand, but with the help of a forceps, you are going to pick a small amount of it. Always remember for future, if you have to observe anything in the microscope, and if you yourself are preparing the slide, what you will do, always take the amount of anything, the material that has been given in very small quantity. If you think हम बहुत ज़्यादा सा रख ले तो बहुत अच्छा दिखाई पड़ेगा माइक्रोस्कोप में, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. Take a very little amount, जितना छोटा आप amount लेंगे उतना अच्छे से आपको observe होगा under the microscope. Always keep this in mind. So you take a very small portion of it. Now what you will do, you will transfer it to the glass slide. Now in the diagram, if you observe, you can see there is a rectangle piece of glass. कांच का एक rectangle piece दिख रहा है. That is called glass slide. Okay. On that glass slide, you are going to transfer the small amount of the material from the bread with the help of forceps. Is this much clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the third step. The third step is you are going to, now for proper observation, if you have to see something very properly, you need to see that if it is colored. So all the portions that of the material that has to be colored, that can take the stain. Staining means coloring. So this is the stain which is called saffronin. You have taken saffronin stain here, and with the help of a drop, जिससे हम ink fill करते हैं अपने ink वाले pen में, fountain pen में, same type of dropper is there. We'll take that dropper, and with the help of it, we will drop 1 or 2 drops of the saffronin on the material that we have taken on the glass slide. This is the third step. After this, we will take glycerine. Now glycerine is used to give a shiny appearance to your material. जो आपको देखना वो अच्छे से clearly visible हो, इसलिए हम उसमें glycerine डालते हैं. Fine. Stain, saffronin we are using for coloring the material, and glycerine we are using for clarity. Now your glass slide is ready. Again, to make sure that you, अब इतनी बड़ी glass slide है, आपका material इधर उधर ना हो, इसलिए to make sure that your material lies in a particular proper place, you will cover it with the help of a cover slip. Okay, very small piece of glass, circular piece of glass is taken, that is called cover slip, and that is kept on the material. Now when you put it, you have to take care that no air bubble can be seen. You have to put in such a manner, it comes by practice when you do it many times, that no air bubble can be seen, and this will give a proper clear view when you observe this under the microscope. So now it is ready for to be placed under the microscope, and with the help of your eyes you can observe it. Is this clear? Now when you observe, you will be able to see, as I told you, that fungus is also a plant. We need to keep in mind it is a plant, it is a colorless plant, and then when we observe it under the microscope, we will be able to see plant-like structure. Not plant, but plant-like a structure. You will be able to see, yes, and this shows the growth of the fungus, which is bread mold. इसको क्या कहते हैं? कौन सी fungus? Bread mold. Okay, children. So this is about the activity. Any problem till here? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And before moving on to the last topic of our chapter, I would like to say that some children listen to the teachers very carefully and they follow the instructions. Now they are the ones who actually gain a lot of success in future. Why? Because they are the ones who follow. Yes, कि कैसे करना है, क्या करना है. So I would like to tell in front of everyone, Riddhima, she has understood. Yesterday I told you that you will be using the react option to tell yes or no. I have been seeing throughout the class that she was the one to use that react option to say yes or no. Good girl. Okay, now we proceed. We come to the next topic, the last topic of the chapter, that is nutrients in the soil. Now children, as I have told you before also, that nutrients are very, very important. Now if you have the pencil in your hand, which you should always sit with, please use that pencil, and where the heading you can see nutrients in the soil, there only just write capital N, comma, capital P, comma, capital K. N, P, K. All in capitals with a comma in between. N for nest, P for parrot, and K for kite. But here this NPK is not for parrot, kite and nest, but they are for nutrients which are very essential. Have you written? Okay. Good. So what you will do? Good. Many children are doing that now. Good. Now what you will do, children? Just make sure that you remember, and if you cannot, please write down. I'll give it to you also in written. But for your information, just make a note that N stands for nitrogen. Nitrogen, the gas that you have already studied about in your class 6. Then P stands for phosphorus, PHOS, PHORUS, PHOS, PHORUS, phosphorus. And K stands for potassium, POTASSIUM. So this NPK, that is, these are very important minerals for the growth of the plant. Now, why we are studying this? Because if these are not present, many more are there, but these are the most important one. If these are not present in the soil, children, your plants which are growing in that particular soil will not show proper growth. So it is important that your soil in which you are planting the plants, it has to be rich in nutrients. There are other ones are there along with nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. There are other ones like calcium that is given in your book. Calcium, sulfur, magnesium, these are also there, and they are also very important. They play an important role. If the soil is deficient in these minerals, then of course the plant which are growing will not show a proper growth. Instead, they are going to show a पुअर ग्रोथ. किसी में पत्ती पीली हो जाएंगी, किसी में शॉर्ट हाइट रह जाएगी, किसी में फ्लावर नहीं आएंगे, तो किसी में फ्रूट नहीं आएंगे. Yes, these are the problems that are seen when you have a soil which is deficient in all these nutrients. So it is very important. And how you are going to do this? This is done artificially by the farmers or by us if we are using the potted pot for planting our plants. Like the potted plants are there, इसमें हम लोग manure डालते हैं, fertilizers. These all are available in the market in the form of powder and in other forms also. Yes, solid form, in liquid form also they are available. You just need to mix it with your soil. जहाँ पर भी आपने plant उगाया, you just need to mix it with the soil, and you will see immediately after some days you will see that there is a proper growth in the plant. Your plants are showing a better growth now. This can be observed very clearly. Yes, children. So we have to say that like the vitamins are important. See, if we are not going to take the fruits and vegetables like your mama, papa, and your teacher also keep saying vegetables bhi khao, fruits bhi khao, doodh piyo. Yes, juice lo, but you people are not interested. So ultimately, it's not like you are going to die without fruits in a day, but gradually, बहुत दिन तक अगर आप नहीं लेते हैं, then of course you suffer deficiency, and उसकी वजह से आपको बहुत सारे problems होने लगते हैं. So you have to take the minerals the same way. Plant will also not die, but then it is not going to show a very proper growth if it is deficient. Now here only I would like to tell you, end up by telling you that there are some plants which are called insectivorous plants. Why they are called insectivorous? क्योंकि जहाँ पर वो grow करते हैं. Insectivorous means the ones that can eat insects. Yes, to our surprise. अभी तक तो insects थे जो plant खाते थे. अब हम उन plants के बारे में पढ़ेंगे जो insects को खा ले रहे हैं. So they are called insectivorous. And why they are called insectivorous? Because they grow in the soil which is deficient. I repeat, which is deficient in nutrients. And you know that the plants cannot walk here and there कि चलो चलो nutrients ले आते हैं बाजार से खरीद के खा लेते हैं. No, their soil has to be rich. Otherwise, they are going to suffer. The plants are going to suffer. So because they cannot move, so what they do with their beauty, with their attraction, they attract the insects, and as soon as the insects get attracted, it sits on them. They have different structures. उसमें वो उसको insects को trap कर लेते हैं, and then they give out some digestive juices. Like digestive juices are secreted from our stomach, which we will be doing in lesson 2. वैसे ही वो लोग भी digestive juices secrete करते हैं, and because of these digestive juices, the whole body of the insect gets dissolved, उसमें घुल जाती है, and it can be easily taken up by the plant. So इस तरह से plant अपनी deficiency insect को खा के दूर कर लेते हैं. Yes. So generally you will find these type of plants. These plants are not very common. You will find in the places which is deficient in nitrogen and other minerals. So there you are going to find these plants. Any example of such plant? Anyone?
Ma'am, picture plant.
Pitcher plant, then Venus flytrap is also there. Yes, these plants
Flytrap.
are the examples of insectivorous plant. So we have come to the end of this chapter. With this, fine children. Now your homework is you're going to revise the whole chapter at home properly, and you'll see it. Not you do not have to read it. You have to read and understand. If you don't understand, please inform me. And then later, what you will do? You will do the exercise part only and only in the book with the help of a pencil. I repeat, only in the book. I know after telling so many times also I'm going to receive some messages, ma'am कौन सी copy में करना है, bio की कौन सी copy बनेगी. I don't want such messages. Please make it very clear. It has to be done only in the book. You'll write today's date and you will do it with the pencil in your book only. Then I will give you the answers, properly written answers. You will match your answers with the ones given by me. If any confusion is there, if any problem is there, you'll ask, else you'll make the changes accordingly. Yes, and then I'll be asking you in the next class. So for now I'm not going to give it right now. First you do it yourself, later I'll be providing, but of course before your next class you will be getting the answers so that you can match them. So which exercise you'll be doing? You'll be doing for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Fifth one is simply the reaction of photosynthesis, nothing else. So will you be able to do the exercises, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and later I'll be giving you the answers so you can match them. So this is how we have come to the end of today's class. Till we meet again, take care of yourselves and keep revising what we have done. Bye-bye, children.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.